Coach, what do you think kind of separates, Texas high school football? It's obviously legendary in a lot of circles. What do you think kind of separates, Texas from maybe some of the other places you've seen or some of the other places you maybe heard about?
It's it it so much of it is the communities. It's not necessarily um the kids or the teams. It's you know like week 3 we played Waco High, so I'm new to the Waco area. I've heard of Waco High, and knew it was you know in the past have been really good, and they're 3-0, we're 3-0, and we're coming out to out of our locker room to go take the field. And as I'm walking up the home side of the stands, I look, and it is absolutely packed. It is standing room only on our home side of the stadium, and I was like, this is unbelievable. This is what Friday night in Tech. This is what makes this so special. And you look over on the other side, and Waco High has got our visitor section just as packed. And it was like, they're talking to our secretary in the athletic office that following Monday. There were people that were buying tickets, realizing they have no chance of getting a seat. We're going back to the ticket window going, man, we can't even see this field. Like, there's nowhere to stand. There's nowhere to sit. We want our money back. And, that was unbelievable. The other thing is our administrations are so supportive of what we do. They understand the impact that athletics can play, and that it doesn't necessarily make the school, but for those kids that's the hook. They understand that, and they get that, and they understand that us as coaches are doing more than just X's and O's. It's a line that I stole from somebody that I worked for at Joey McGuire, and I've said it in every interview since. I said, look, when you hired me to come work at your school, I said, I'm going to do everything in my power to make that kid a better student, a better son, one day a better husband, a better father, just a better human for the rest of his life. But for 2 hours after school, when we're at practice, and for 3 hours on Friday night, when we're in between those white lines, I am trying to win a football game. And we're going to win, because the message we teach these kids it's so much, it's received so much better when you're winning football games. I've been at places where we didn't win a lot of football games, and it was a lot harder to get that message across. Because you're sitting there going, hey, we're gonna run this blitz, and then it doesn't hit, and then hey, we're gonna run this play on offense, and it's an incompletion, or we fumble, or whatever happens, right? And you end up losing the ball game, and kids are going, well, man, I don't know. The coach knows what he's talking about, And then so that carries on to everything else you're trying to teach them. It's there's so many different components to it of, like we have athletic periods, so we're able to see our kids, and we're able to really coach and it's into some of the finer details of the position, or of the technique, or of the scheme we're trying to run. The depth at which we're able to do that, because we're able to see our kids so much. We'll have college guys come in, they're kind of asked what our schedule is, and they look at us and like, man, you get your kids more than we did. And you're teaching 4 or 5 classes, or, whatever your school load happens to be. And, I think that, and then, for me being a Texas guy, knowing, some of the names, Gordon Woods and G.A. Moores, and, you got, the run that Todd Dodge had at South Lake, and you got the guy down there in Corpus Christi that's now the all-time wins leader, and the team that beat us in the state game, he's been at that school, I think I heard like 33 or 34 years, as an assistant, and just kept buying his time, and gets a head job, and whammo, he, gets a state title, and they've opened umpteen schools in that area since he first started there. And you kind of watch over the years, and they'd get good, and then they'd open 2 high schools, and they try to kind of drop back down because the talent pool got pulled, and then they lo and behold, here they come, they're back up. he just kept riding that wave, and it's just stuff like that is what makes it what it is, I think.
I think it's obvious to all the other coaches from the other states, just from looking at the state finals and semifinals game of you guys in Dallas Cowboys Stadium up to the 2A games, and there's what looks like 50,000 people in the Dallas Cowboys Stadium to watch a high school game, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but there was a 2A game with two cities that had whatever 10,000 people in their city, and there was 50,000 people at the football game.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The people that have absolutely no dog in the fight that weekend of the state championship games will, they'll go buy a ticket and, hey, we got 3 games today, and they'll stay for all 3 games just because it's the high school playoffs. It's a state championship game. When, let me think, I guess this was 2013. Allen had played, I think they were playing North Lamar. They played the 4 o'clock kickoff, and we had Katy in the 8 o'clock kickoff. So we were the last game of the season. And that's when they set the record of like 54,000 people, right? And, you're sitting there and you're telling the kids, hey, it's, there's going to be a lot of people, but it's just another game. It's we're going to do what we do. And, you sit there and you say all that cliche crap, right? And then you walk out and you see, hey, there are people in the freaking upper deck to watch high school football. And, you've got goosebumps that are 2 inches tall. And, I just kind of stood there for a second in the end zone as we're waiting to be able to take the field to go out and do our pregame. And I was like, man, this doesn't happen everywhere, and this doesn't happen every day. And just kind of take a moment and be like, hey, I'm going to be wide-eyed for about 10 seconds, and then I'm going to shake this thing off. You know what I mean? Like, this is – wow, this is special.
Yeah, you get goosebumps just hearing – I do, just hearing about that. I played not huge football, but at Houston, and we played at the Rose Bowl, never got 50,000 people. So I could only imagine it's a state championship game, how big of a deal it is in Texas, and then you're playing at Dallas Cowboys Stadium in front of 50,000.
Right. You get to play in the greatest stadium going, and the times before when I coached there, I've been in the box, and we were fortunate enough to play round 2 there. We played Byron Nelson there round 2, and so that, hey, don't catch yourself staring up at the screen. You know what I mean? Hey, let's make sure we're into the game. Hey, let me raise my right hand high. I look up one time. What am I doing? I'm looking at myself on the screen. I'm like, oh crap, there's been a great example for the kids. You know what I mean? But it's like a tractor beam. You can't not look up there. You don't want to, but you're gonna look up there.
So we'll practice at doing that, and then we do. One of my favorite things to do is a reach drill, where basically just partner up across from each other, and both guys are on offense, and they're trying to set that outside edge, trying to get outside, and then physically turn them back inside. That's what I tell them, and so they'll. It gets to be pretty competitive. So we can't do it too much because they'll go. Some how it is sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially if they're equal and they're really not setting the edge, they'll just run forever. And there's a ditch on the other side of our practice field, so
run them into the ditch.
Stop them, But yeah, they'll run them off the field. So
that's a great drill. I stole that from Walls. Walls, maybe you can talk about it a little bit as far as where you got it or whatever. But I love that reach drill, and that's what all we call is reach drill. But just like you said, Coach, we put 2 offensive guys and we tell them to reach each other, and it's like you said, it gets competitive, and it's some of the best work that we could possibly get.
Oh, it really is. And I enjoy doing it. I do it in and out of pads. Out of pads, I don't have them turn. I'm just basically have them, cut across the other guy's face.
Yeah.
And then once we get in pads, then we start putting hand placement and turn. So it's a lot of fun.
I think it's an unbelievable drill, just because, like you said, number one, it's competitive, and anytime it's competitive, you're going to get maximum effort out of the kids. And then I think number 2, it's a conditioner. So I like to do it at the start of practice, because I always thought, it kind of got those guys lathered up pretty well, maybe get them a little bit tired, because that's how they were going to have to play in the game. So all of a sudden now they don't really think about working that hard, but now they get back into practice and they're a little bit tired, and it forces them to think, kind of the same thing we do with like a screen drill. It gets those guys running. It gets those guys thinking like, you know what, I'm an offensive lineman and I'm a good athlete. So I love that drill. Great drill.
Yeah, it is good. And like you said, I do it about the same time you do. If the days that I do it as soon as we're done stretching. When we get over there and like, all right, let's do a reach drill. Boom, off to the races. Get them going.
It's fun. It's fun too, because then you get some of your good guys. I'd do that because the guys I'd win all the time. So I'd feel like, okay, they weren't getting any adversity because they wanted to go against their buddy. So then I'd put their buddy out, like he was a 3 technique. And then they'd be like, Coach, what the heck, man? You're like, hey, I'm going to make you work today, So
Yeah.
you can always kind of handicap it a little bit too.
We stole that drill and used it a little bit with pass pro as well. So, when you get that defensive lineman that works inside, and you always work keeping that post foot up. So we start them off with their post foot up, and opposite guys facing each other, so they're both the same post foot side would be up, and the drill is try to post down faster than the other guy. So we kind of morphed that into using it in pass pro as well, and it's one of the best off-season drills that we can use, because just like in reach drill, it's competitive, and guys have to do it really quick but still keep their form.